Welcome back to the final 9 holes of the 2022 Santiam Open, the first sanctioned, at least B tier in Oregon for 2022. I'm Scott Withers, as you know, here with Jeff Korns.
What's up, Scott? You ready for this final 9 today?
Well, I'm excited to see some of it. I may have some insider knowledge about how some of it comes out of my hand.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that because you're on the card today?
That's because I'm on the card today, chasing down the man, James Proctor. For the round, James is 7 under, so he's got a 3-shot lead on me at this point. I'm at 5, and then Lewis and DJ a little bit behind, but we moved right into one of my favorite holes on this property, kind of a crusher of a drive on hole 10 here, and then a really cool green up on this golf tee over to the right. One of my favorite holes for sure.
Yeah, I like this hole a lot because you don't get many opportunities to have a driver par 4. And also with the bending right down the fairway, the big trees, you kind of want to keep it to the tree line on the right just to minimize that distance at almost 700 feet on the dot. So you don't want to put it in. You don't want to put it low in the ground because you're gonna have a long way to go on the next shot.
I made sure that I could go driver par 4.
DJ opting to use the natural tee surface instead of the cart path.
Yeah, good shot.
Yeah.
You got it out there. There's not really a ton of trouble on this tee shot that you can get into. James goes pretty conservative and pretty high here on this one. But, that's fine. I think if he played this hole more, he would probably try to go a little farther right. And then this is, out of all holes, this is an appropriate roller.
I throw a roller on this hole. This one makes sense.
Yeah.
I think this was my only roller off the tee.
Yeah. So I am a long way away from the basket here. Took the rangefinder out, and it was 450 feet away off some decent footing, but it's still, wintertime. You're not going to get a full pull. I went ESP Zeus and got it to like 50 feet, and I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, DJ, I think it's going Hypercane here, forehand, and that's up in the putting range.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be maybe blocked out by that bush. We'll see when we get up there. That's why this green is so awesome. Like, good shots get up top, but it's rare. You don't see people, inside 30 feet very often on this one for birdie.
Yeah, getting up on that top shelf it's a great position to be at on this putting green. But you're right, a lot of people do end up at 30-something feet.
I will say, this is the first time that I've ever been 200 feet behind Lewis on a drive without hitting a tree.
Stellar.
I was somehow inside of James in 2, though, because James kind of yanked his second one, and then, as he always does, gives it one heck of a bid from 60. And then I have about this 50-footer here.
Oh.
That would have been such a cool birdie after that terrible drive.
Yeah, especially after getting the last 5 holes. You're on a little bit of a tear.
Yeah. DJ, full stretch out here. Oh,
just
man.
off the front.
Yeah, what a putt. A little tip to viewers, and I don't think DJ was necessarily in this spot, but if you need a little more clearance to the right side, put your knee down on the ground. Put your left foot behind it, put that left knee down on the ground behind your lie, and stretch out as far as you can. He was a little far away to do that. It would have been tough to generate the power, but that's just a tip for new players. If you're really in that deep straddle and you need it, put that knee on the ground. It gets you another, 6 or 7 inches to get around the object. Yeah, James cleaned up his par. I'm looking to do the same, and so is Lewis. We'll have 4 pars on this hole. It's not the end of the world.
No, this one's tougher. This one actually averaged exactly at par.
Mm-hmm.
So, no. A couple birdies on the field. Not a lot, but you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, and we move from hole 10, which is a great par 4, into a notorious par 5 out here. Probably the most memorable hole on this property. Everyone talks about it. It tears some people up. Some people tear it up, but pretty open drive on this true 1,000-footer. And then it makes just a slow right turn, and this pond on the right side really does come into play.
Again, similar to the last hole, I love these long right turning holes where you have obstacles on the right side that you are trying to stay close to while still biting off large amounts of distance. And you're flirting with that OB or that obstacle down the whole right side. This is a challenging hole, and there's many ways to play it, including a second fairway. I don't know if anyone in your card's going to opt for that.
Are you talking about the second fairway that my disc is heading towards right now?
No, yours is heading the opposite direction of the second fairway that I played up.
Oh, okay. Well, I can tell you the non-fairway that I tried to play up, not the play. DJ crushes one right out in the middle like that. He's got this pink ESP nuke that it's in such a good spot for him. And then James going pretty conservative hyzer out there. He gets sneaky distance though. James is a true power player.
Yeah, I really never understood how good of a putter James was when I first met him, because I played collegiate against him and he was just ripped the disc, and that's what people he separated himself from the collegiate field with that. But once I got to know him better, I understood that his putting is in his short game is an excellent part of his game. So just well-rounded all the way around.
You'll have to forgive our camera work a little bit on this hole. Oh. Well, there's those blackberries that I was telling you about, as
yeah.
I was in a bad spot, and you can see me pulling thorns out of my hand. We're about 2 weeks later right now, and I still have a hole in my hand from one of them getting buried in there deep. Lewis, this is what I'm saying. Excuse the cameraman, because Lewis is now 500 feet away from the rest of our card, and that's not the basket we're going to.
No, so that is the fairway that I talked about, and I chose to play up that side because, as math says, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So if you decide to say, screw this little pond that Scott made us play around, go down the right side, you can cut the distance a little bit. But
yeah, we might.
You're kind of in a weird
one.
spot.
Yeah, I was not in a great spot. I was still 430, 440 feet out. And at this point, I'm chasing James, right? I have to try to make a birdie. Didn't quite commit to the full over the pond like it needed to, even though I was trying. And you can see where DJ and James get up to, although I don't think we see James's next shot on camera here. Oh, yeah, we do. So this is James's third. We didn't get to see his second. These two have played this whole textbook. Kind of hyzer drive off the tee. Good second shot to leave yourself a 300 or 325-foot forehand in.
Yeah, so as I said, I played up that other fairway and completely agree mandoing or forcing you to play down the intended fairway, because my third shot into the green, I was about 230 out. Managed to find a way to screw that up by throwing, two massive drives, we'll say. But, entertaining hole and room for action.
Lewis could have taken a par there. He could have taken an 8, and we wouldn't have known the difference because we were watching from across the pond, but no one was even close to where he was playing this hole from, but he takes the same score that I did. So, and then these two, DJ and James, both have real makeable birdie putts, and as James does, he puts it right on the pole.
Yeah, it's a great birdie. I mean, this hole is tough because if you don't put yourself with two long drives out there, it just lengthens most likely a forehand you're going to want to throw into the green. And it's, not everyone's trying to stretch out a 400-foot forehand into this green.
No, but when you have the power that DJ and James both do, that third shot coming in is in that 300-foot range, so it's definitely doable. James picks up one more on me there. DJ ties it up with Lewis, so we have a little separation from James to myself, and then at this point, Chris Nelson from the second card was making a bit of a charge, but he was still a couple back of second place. So we got done 2 really long bomber holes, and now we move into kind of a tricky technical hole.
Yeah, did you move the tee pad at all on this one compared to last year? It felt a little bit like it was in a slightly tweaked spot.
I think there was just some limbs that are gone. That ice storm did a pretty big, some pretty big damage to this course. And some of the limbs are lower on this line that I was trying to take. And then down the gap, I felt like the left side might have been a little higher. And then I absolutely smoked this one.
Yeah, I like going the right path because, you get under that initial gap. There's nothing else out there to beat. All you're looking for is a good skip back left, and you're going to be under the basket or with the putt, but, there's always a roller option.
There's not always a roller option, and there's not a roller option on this hole. He tried to make one with an XD, which is kind of a Lewis Nava specialty, XD roller. Hits a tree, falls down, and I really do think this left side got cleaned up a lot because in the past that would have been a really tough upshot from where he was, but it was pretty standard and routine there.
Yeah, you got a nice long look out here for a birdie potential. Pick up a stroke.
No, I'll just hit another basket.
As we come down the stretch, there's a couple of holes left. An island hole down later. There's potential for some two-stroke swings, but you really got to make the move now if you're going to make it. And it's a great putt from DJ.
Absolutely. He had kind of turned it on at this point. He'll tell you, his DJ goes how his putter goes. If he's making putts and feeling comfortable out on the course, if he can do this consistently, he's going to contend to win almost every event that he plays, especially in the Northwest. Still developing the putting game a little bit. That one was super sweet.
Yeah, I don't know if, maybe he needs a little bit of time to warm up or something, because I played a DJ the first round, started off the first couple holes a little cold, but then just started canning everything. And, when you watch your card mate miss a 20-something, like 20-footer on the first hole, you think, oh, this guy could be in for a rough one today. But then, no, he banged circle 2 putts on like 3 of the next 7 holes. I was like, okay, DJ's came to play. And he's heating up now. Which is the right time.
He throws a disc. Almost always throws the disc well. It's just kind of if the short game can keep up with the long game. But it has been, for this round, it's looked really smooth. So when he's making putts, it's fun to watch. We move into 13, which was a forced change due to some flooding. We generally would play across the pond the other way. Unfortunately, there was nowhere to tee off from, and that giant stick pile was now in the way. So short putter shot, 240. I guess the only thing is if you throw it in the pond, or if you throw it way long and have to putt back towards the pond. But pretty standard here.
Yeah, not too much danger. If you just, like we said, get over the pond, you're in play. Nothing much to worry about. It's a little bit of a run.
Yeah, it came in just a little short. The guys on the card were yelling to get in, and I was just thinking, God, please get over the pond.
Yeah, I know that feeling. All you want is just... Everyone else is rooting for the best case scenario for you, but in your mind, you're just thinking, I really hope it's just in bounds, honestly.
I just want to make my birdie. Bang, good 20. Yeah. Like 22-footer, but you gotta put those in. DJ does, so we are squarely staring down a star frame at this point.
Yeah, if that's the longest putt, lead card, you guys should have this handled.
Yeah. The hole when we get to play it the other direction is a little more challenging. There's just more trouble. I
agree. You got to carry the water at 250 feet of carry.
Yeah, and the whole way, right? You're teeing off from just the water's
the
10 feet in front of you, and then the basket's 20 feet past the pond or whatever. So there's a lot more challenges that go into it, but it was pretty flooded, so this is an acceptable change. I really wish we could find another place for a tee pad, but it just kind of, the way it works out and the way that the other holes kind of mold in with each other. When you have to adjust your golf course layout, sometimes you just kind of have to throw a tee box down and play from it. So, James has me by 4. I've got DJ by 3 and Lewis by 4, but we're going to kick it out to a sponsor real quick. back in action with a hole that had a pretty significant tee change to move it back left. And gosh, I think for the MPO field, it made this one a tough and pretty good par 4.
Yeah, I got to agree. When I walked up to this one, I was a big fan of the change.
Yeah, it was playing a little short. I think some of the other divisions didn't love the change as much if they don't have the 425-foot power or whatever. But I looked at it and I was like, we got to do something to make this just a little tougher. Let's bump it back. Let's bring this creek a little more into play. And as a result, you can see all of us kind of threw drives in the same spot. But it made you throw 2 really good shots to get a birdie putt instead of just 1.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that if you don't have that massive 400 feet plus of power, your second shot becomes kind of a gap shot down the trees on the left side, and Lewis has got to come back, and he doesn't quite sneak across the cart path.
Yeah, most of the holes out here, the cart path is safe, but this one keeps you away from a couple of the other holes, so it is out of bounds and really does make this hole. Yeah, I agree. I thought you wanted to get as far left as you could on your drive and still be kind of up in this distance. We got up here. DJ was a little too far right. I was a little too far left, and James was actually in the money spot. And then we all still have about 310 or 320 feet in.
Yeah, I think I was kind of right around you, and it was just kind of like a flat, like almost stalled shot into the green. You go mid or fairway on this?
I went with my glow passion. So fairway. Okay. I didn't quite put it in the air enough, but both James and I have outside putts here. DJ gets some ground play and ends up also in kind of that 35 to 40 foot range. And Lewis is just kind of scrambling, trying to basically save a bogey at this point.
And this is where I do really like the tee changes. Last year, I'd seen players go out of bounds right over that car path and still be within range to get back up to save a par. And I think that, if you're going to make that mistake, you're going to have to pay for it. And it's going to create score separation. You grab him the birdie. Lewis's best case is a 5.
Yeah, I was pumped about that putt. I mean, I know that it's kind of over at this point. Like, James had me by 4 going into this hole, and I'm thinking, like, all right, I'm going to have a hard time catching all up. But, I mean, he's got a tough putt here.
Oh, almost in, but not quite.
Yeah, the first little mini break I felt like I kind of got all round from James.
DJ does not get the mini break on that basket pop right there.
No, we were talking about it. I think the back of his putter grabbed one of the nubs. And
was that what it was?
Out. I think so.
It hit right at that level where you see sometimes a putter hit the ring and kind of just get that pop backwards out.
I don't think it quite got into the ring. It was a little right, but I mean, and for all purposes, it was a made putt, and it just didn't quite get to the bottom of the cage.
Yeah, tough one there for DJ to have to miss out on the opportunity.
Yeah, his putter had been so hot too, and a putt like that, and we were talking about it, a putt like that doesn't need to derail your momentum. You can just be like 30-footer uphill. I was 2 inches from going in. It was, flat off the hand. It was spinning and everything. It's like, okay, don't let that derail your momentum in a positive way from like how you've been playing.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to derail going into this hole. Even though it's 200 feet, we got an island green here. You got to stick it on.
Yep, it is. I mean, the island's pretty big, but because it's an island green, it's in your head.
Yeah, absolutely. If we got rid of the flags and said the cart path didn't change a thing, we'd probably all throw this hole to 20 feet anyways, but the pressure builds.
DJ leaves it short. James has got to go a little. Oh, it hits just over the path and crawls inbounds, and that was a huge momentum thing. If that's 5 feet shorter, we got a ball game. But now he's still inbounds. In a worst case scenario, he's only losing 1 on the hole.
Yeah, you're 3 back with 4 to play. You could use those extra strokes, but
yeah, you're not rooting against somebody at any point. But at the same time, as a competitor, you're like, if that doesn't go in, like things are about to get interesting.
Ooh, kind of for how James's day's been going, a little bit of an uncharacteristic miss.
Yeah, I totally agree. Then, like, now we have 3 holes to play. And now I'm 2 shots back. And I know that 16 is a really, really tough birdie. And we moved the tee pad. Come to find out, it didn't make the birdie any easier. 17 is a hole that almost everyone birdies, right? It's just a pretty standard par 4 that's just like throw a drive, throw a forehand up shot, take your birdie, move on. And then 18 is the separator hole. But I know that I've got to get within 1 to make James go for 18 so he doesn't lay up.
Yeah. And moving into this one, this, like you said, this is a prime opportunity. This green is heavily protected. There's a lot of trees late in the fairway as well. You know, bogey could be in play if you make a mistake, don't get up and down the right way. But birdie's definitely within reason.
We played the hole. I got down there because this wasn't very good. Like, I'm trying to swing it just inside that tree and like hyzer maybe into that bathroom or something. I got down there and then I looked and I was like, man, this was a perfect opportunity to throw a roller down the left side. I'm not sure this tee pad's going to go back where it was. I think it's a pretty sweet hole from here.
Honestly, I completely agree. Like, this was a really good change. Like, that stick pile you see on the left is the reason for the change. And this new position, big fan personally.
Yeah, I think there's so many options. And I'm not talking about throwing this roller that Lewis is trying. This one just kind of didn't quite have the angle. I'm talking about going down the left side and throwing like a big sky roller, because I got down there and I was like, dang, it's so open on that left side, but you don't get a practice round on this course, so it's, you know, we're all playing this whole blind. I like that idea by DJ. It was a little high, but I like that line, low, pushing forward, and I think he can get up in there for a putt.
Yeah, this is that lane that you were talking about from the left side that Lewis has just to get up and down. You know, there's no danger, there's no trees. You just got to get up there.
It's just a cart path on the left, and yes, it would be a little scary throwing the roller, but in reality, if you are having to this hole, that might be the play. James and I both over here with outside looks. DJ was also kind of the same. Like, no one really had opportunities to make birdie, and my forehand up shot also just kind of ended up where these did. And then Lewis, kind of for the first time in the round, just lets one slip from close.
Yeah, him and DJ are battling right now, and that's not a stroke he can afford to lose.
Nope.
Especially since there's other people potentially pushing from the chase or the third card as well.
Right,
there was a tight grouping towards the top.
Yeah, 2-round tournament like this, there's not a ton of separation always. Like 3-round tournaments, or if we play 4-round tournaments or whatever, you start to separate, but not in a 1-day 2-round thing. Like, you're never safe. All it takes is one hot round from someone on second card to come up, and you could steal a win. Not going to happen in this situation. James played too well for both rounds. I was the only one that really had a chance to catch him.
Yeah, but you know, these guys are 3 to 5 down for the round right now. They're leaving an opportunity open, so they got to hold on. They got some work to do left.
Yeah, hole 17 we move into. We talked about it a little bit already. This is just kind of like a throw your drive out there. That's fine. You can go as big as you want, but you don't really need to. You see the basket off to the right there. Maybe I'd like to go another 20 or 30 feet, but as long as you're not tucked behind that one tall evergreen tree, it really doesn't matter where you go.
So do you have any consideration going on this one, like pushing a roller maybe, trying to get down there? Like, it's a short par 4, like, you know, trying to make a miracle happen.
Yeah, in the summertime, I definitely would. With how soft some of this ground is and stuff, I don't think 550 or 575. This one probably was a little longer than 550, honestly, because we moved the tee pad back like 50 or 60 feet. It used to be kind of up more towards those white golf tee signs that you can see, but I just didn't think there was any way that I was realistically going to get a putt anyway, so I might as well just guarantee my birdie and just like almost hope that something goes awry with James, although it's not very likely.
Sure, and I don't think we mentioned either. Cart path left and right, both and over, are out of bounds.
Yes.
So there is some danger if you do try to get too aggressive.
Yeah, I don't think I could get one to roll 525 or 550 feet through this stuff. You can see I drive kind of bailed out left, and that's still all I had. And it was like, okay, just take your pitch up. This is probably a much better par 4 for the amateur field that plays this course first in the morning than it is for the MPO field, so to say. And I bet you for some of the MP40, MP50, and FPO fields, this is a pretty good par 4 also.
Yeah.
I left that upshot a little short.
Just a little bit, but, putter staying solid.
It was fine. I walked up to it, though, and I was like, damn it. Like, I'm going to miss this one, and then I'm really not going to have a chance. Made it. And then James also still has to put it in from here.
Yeah, he hearts it.
Yeah, and you would expect him to, but sometimes 2 holes to go with a 2-shot lead, like, the nerves can maybe play a little factor or whatever, and you can see a miss from there. I didn't expect it. Certainly didn't expect it. But it was one that I had to watch it go in the basket before I turned around.
Sure. Hands are cold, too. Putting's not easy.
The sun's out? What is this?
Yeah, this is the first time we're seeing sun all of a sudden today.
In a month. Maybe 2.
Yeah.
Right.
But we'll start frame on hole 17. Down 2, 1 to play. James's only mistake is throwing it out of bounds here, so.
Yeah. Yep. And we knew where we were at. We had talked about it. He had asked before the hole. He's like, hey, I'm up 2, right? And I was like, yep. Dang it.
Yeah, well, we've seen aces before on this hole, and to finish a tournament, unfortunately not in your favor.
No, we'll talk about it every time. I was down 1 4 years ago on this hole, this exact hole. Dustin Keegan had me by 1, walks up and throws it in the basket and shuts the door on me.
Smart play. A couple years ago, Keegan was 1.
And that's the play for James, just
Yeah.
putting it in bounds. He can pitch that up and move on.
It's a note for win. All players. If you're up 2 going into the last hole, lay up, man. Just take the win. You got to mentally know how to win, and James has won a lot of tournaments, and there's a reason for it.
Yeah, not a good position for DJ there.
No, we're gonna get up there, and it's not bad. He threw it so far that he's got a 3P putt. Lewis, on the other hand, it stays safe. He was flirting with the green over there.
The quick pitch up from James.
He was supposed to. Yep, did what he was supposed to. Put it under the basket. Lewis tried to make one more big putt to end. Great tournament by Lewis. Great putting performance. Was in it the whole time. I know the score wasn't incredible for this last round, but honestly, it's good to see him out there and playing well again.
Oh, yeah. I mean, first round, just canning everything. Couldn't seem to miss a putt, and the roller counter ended at 21, I think.
Which was 21 more than I saw anybody else throw today. So
I threw 1, so he got me by 20.
Got you by 20.
Not in score, though, which is the good thing.
Great job by James holding on. Only a one-shot victory in the end, but realistically, could have tried to birdie hole 18 there if he needed to. I get to 20. Chris Nelson, I believe, comes back to take 3rd place. So it, got kind of tight at the end, but the whole field was pretty jammed up from 3rd place all the way down, which isn't unexpected. I thought it was a super fun day.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris Nelson shot a 9 down, 10-27 rated round to jump up to that 3rd spot, as you said. And then a lot of Oregon regulars and talented players up in that top 10, as you can see there.
Yeah, Jared Gogol getting in there, Ty Love tying with Lewis and Alexander there for, rounding out the top 5. So thank you to Collin with CH Sports for coming out and filming. We are looking forward to him being out for all the Oregon Series events this year.
Hey guys, Collin here with CH Sports. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to my coverage sponsors. These videos would not be able to come to life without these people's help, so I really appreciate it. There's plans starting as low as $3 a month, and every single dollar helps grow the channel. If you would like to see your name or business listed in the credits of every single one of my videos, please head over to patreon.com/chsports.